What a scene outside City Hall in Miami yesterday before a vote to deputize its police officers with federal immigration powers. Hundreds of people waiting in massive lines to have their voices heard at a meeting of the city commission. It lasted more than 9 hours, with nearly 100 residents speaking against a policy they say does not reflect the character of their city.
Miami is a city of immigrants, of survivors, of people who love this city and call it home, even when it doesn't love them back. You have the power to protect the people, not to punish them.
Shame on you if you choose to harm a community that has built this city.
ICE's complete disregard for the Constitution and civil rights is something the city of Miami has no business getting involved with.
I urge you all to vote no, because your first priority should not be the approval of the current administration. It should be to the people of the city, to the quality of our lives.
Don't pass 287G. But if you do, don't pretend that this is still the Magic City. Do it all the way. Strip it bare.
I just asked what the process was.
What's your name?
Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Stop it. No, stop what you're doing. Let me go. Let me go. I can stand and I can be quiet. No, I have a right to understand this process. Stop it. Please, this is can you just can I get there?
Can you walk? Can you walk outside?
Can I have a breath? Can I have a breath?
Can you walk outside?
I cannot hold it up and centering myself.
Outside. Okay, we're gonna take it out. Let her speak. Let her speak. Let her speak. Let her speak.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So once again, we got to talk about woke activists finding out the hard way that their activism means absolutely nothing, especially in states, red states, like, for example, Florida, where law and order matters, okay? And because law and order matters, okay, you have Republicans led by Ron DeSantis deciding to turn up the heat when it comes to cracking down on illegal immigration, including in very pro-illegal immigrant areas of Florida, like, for example, Miami, where there probably are a lot of illegals, okay? I mean, you basically got to speak Spanish in order to get by in that city. Yeah, the activists, they're showing up to the local meetings and expressing outrage over the fact that ICE and local police are allowed to work together when it comes to cracking down on illegal immigration. And the potential for ICE to be using or to have access to county jails made a whole lot of activists upset. So upset that they showed up to one of the meetings out in Miami-Dade County and ended up getting arrested, right? Ended up finding out when they tried to speak out of turn. Take a look.
2 people were arrested. Both of them are now out of jail, but still facing charges. CBS News' Miami's Bree Buckley has been following this story from the very beginning. She joins us live now with the very latest. Bree.
Well, that woman just walked out of TGK here about an hour ago. She was met by her husband. They did not want to talk to us, however, avoiding our questions. 36-year-old Camila Ramos was released from jail Friday afternoon after she was arrested at a Miami-Dade County Commission meeting Thursday morning.
Respect, no comment. We're just trying to get her home.
You don't need to do this. I just needed a moment. Stop.
Deputies said she spoke up when an officer told her not to speak. That was after the board deferred a vote on the agreement with ICE and county jails that would include reimbursement for local inmates awaiting deportation.
We will have order in this chamber.
There was confusion in the crowd about public hearing after the item was deferred.
Stop! Let me go! Let me go! This hurts!
Ramos was arrested at the meeting and charged with resisting arrest with violence and battery on an officer. She appeared in bond court Friday morning. Her attorney says she was denied the option to post bond Thursday.
She's already been more punished than she should have been.
Z. Spicer was also arrested, charged with resisting arrest without violence, and bonded out Thursday night.
But this is an attack on free speech, on our rights to give public comment.
A group of immigrant advocates who were at the meeting called the reaction shameful, demanding the charges to be dropped and the county mayor, sheriff, and commission to address what happened, saying deputies were violent and escalated the situation.
They pushed us, they screamed to us, even one police officer came with a rifle. Do they need a rifle there? Really?
District 13 Commissioner Rene Garcia spoke to us after the meeting.
Today was a great exercise in figuring out that we must modify our rules a little bit to make sure that we never take people's right away to speak on any item.
I reached out to the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, the Miami-Dade County Mayor's Office, as well as the County Commission's Office to see if they have any comment about what happened or a response to what the group said, but I have not heard back. Live at TGK, Bree Buckley, CBS News, Miami.
Life can change in an instant. One moment you're fine, the next, well, everything is different. You're left with questions, with pain, with the feeling that you've been wronged, and the system, well, it feels like it is built against you. This is why you need somebody that's on your side, somebody that understands, somebody that will fight for you. At Morgan & Morgan, they're not just lawyers, they're advocates. They're here to give you a voice when yours feels lost. They've recovered billions for people just like you. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, takes on all types of injury cases from car accidents to medical malpractice. They fight for your rights and the compensation that you deserve if you become their client so that you can focus on healing. They've achieved significant verdicts over the past few months for the victims involved in life-altering car crashes, like out in Florida. A $12 million verdict, which was over 34 times the highest insurance offer. And they work on a contingency fee basis, which means that you don't pay unless you win. It's really that simple, to be honest with you. So you can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/blackconservative, which will be in the description below, right? The link will be in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen with your phone's camera. Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? The woke activists are really upset, right? And boo, I didn't cry, get arrested, okay? Over the prospect of ICE and local law enforcement working together, housing the illegals in county jails. However, the woke activists are going to be disappointed to find out that the county jails are not enough, right? There needs to be more space available for the illegals, okay, to house them and then to deport them, okay? And that is why Ron DeSantis is basically retrofitting an existing facility in order to make it what he is calling Alligator Alcatraz for illegal immigrants, right? It is like an all-in-one, one-stop shop for the state and the federal government to work together when it comes to deporting the illegals, okay? And they're calling it Alligator Alcatraz because it's basically built in the middle of the Everglades, surrounded by alligators and pythons, which would make it really hard to escape if an illegal, okay, decided to escape, which would be a very unwise decision.
Normally on a Friday, the Everglades would be so quiet, but right now the hills are alive with the sound of construction. Joining us right now is Governor Ron DeSantis here in the great state of Florida. You came up with this idea in the last couple of weeks, right, for Alcatraz, or Alligator Alcatraz. Explain it.
Well, when you want to have deportation of illegal aliens, there's a process that DHS has to go through to vet, to process, and then to stage them for removal.
Right.
And, you know, we've got jails, and our sheriffs and police are working. The state of Florida is all in on President Trump's mission. And obviously you have ICE operations, but that's not enough. And so there needs to be more ability to intake, process, and then deport. So this answers that. This is going to be able to have more than 3,000 illegals can be processed through here. We've got a massive runway right behind us where any of the federal assets that they want to fly these people back to their home country, they can do it one-stop shop.
So where will the migrants come from? And we should point out, we're about 50 miles to the west of Miami, right?
More than that, I'd say. So we're in the heart. We're actually mostly in Collier. We're actually mostly in Collier County, to be honest with you. So
I was going to say
this is the
we're in the middle of nowhere.
Dade Collier Airport. So this is an airport that we use for training, military. As you see, we're doing this on the existing footprint. But basically, I would say most of the illegals will likely be ones that are apprehended in Florida. You know, we've got across this country about 750,000 illegals that have already been ordered to be removed by an immigration judge. We probably got 50,000 or more in Florida. And so we're going to have our hands full just with that. But I'll tell you, this is going to be a force multiplier, and we're really happy to be working with the federal government to satisfy President Trump's mandate.
None of this stuff was here, except for the runway, about a week ago.
Well, there was a couple buildings with the airport. This is a functioning airport. Some media has erroneously tried to say it was defunct. It's not defunct. They do have flights. All those training flights will still be able to continue, no problem. But all the stuff that goes into intake and processing of illegals, you're seeing this put up. This is all 24 hours. 24 hours from now, you're going to see even more. And by Tuesday, this will be able to have intake of illegals.
And you've thought of everything. Okay, so there are 4 gigantic tents. Let's come on over here, Governor. And people are thinking, okay, you're in the middle of the Everglades. It's hot. That would explain why you've got this bank of air conditioners here.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed. There'll be places for them to be housed. You'll have an ability for food. You'll have an ability for them to consult legal rights if they have that, because there is a process that's involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So we've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got, obviously, there you see the shower and bath facilities.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well, so this is being done by the Division of Emergency Management. So when we have a hurricane, like we would actually have people stage here for hurricane response normally anyways, but we have it when we have all the linemen come in to do the power. We have to set up little areas for them. And so you have all this type of stuff. So this is not our first rodeo. The detainee illegal alien mission's a little bit different, and the deportations, but logistics, we know how to do that.
Right, and you know, for people thinking, okay, they're going to put the migrants on this hot asphalt, it looks like you're building a subfloor, and in fact, some guys are putting down the plywood.
Yeah, no, look, this will be, I mean, there's not going to be anything that they're hurting for anything. There'll be AC. There'll be things that everybody needs. There's medical here. So it's being done right. It's being done by the book.
Well, you know, when you think of the imagery of Alcatraz, Alcatraz is surrounded by a bay. Here in the Everglades, you're actually surrounded by gators and pythons.
So this is as secure as it gets. I mean, if a criminal alien were to escape from here somehow, and I don't think they will, you've got nowhere to go. I mean, what are you going to do? Trudge through the swamp and dodge alligators on the way back to 50, 60 miles just to get to civilization? Not going to happen. So not only that is it secure, it also takes this deportation mission out of the hair of our local and state law enforcement. This has no impact on Florida residents because some of that stuff can have an impact on them if it's in more populated areas. And so logistically, this really answers the call. All you need is a little bus to move them, you know, about 2,000 feet that way, then get on a plane and they're gone.
Wow. I got to tell you guys, I got to be 100% honest with you. As much as I like JD, I like Marco Rubio, I also like Ron DeSantis too, because Ron DeSantis, he is a great executive, right? When it comes to being a governor, understanding how to govern and how to get things done, how to prioritize, I don't think there's anybody in the country better than this guy, right? Ron DeSantis has thoroughly shown us that he knows how to manage a state. He knows how to manage a government. And that skill set, in my opinion, makes him probably the best executive, okay, in the 2028 GOP race. I mean, I'm pretty sure he will be running, okay? And if he is in the race, I can't imagine anybody having a better record when it comes to being able to govern than Ron DeSantis, okay? So he's showing that he knows how to get stuff done, and he is willing to do things in a way that is very efficient in order to help out federal law enforcement and to crack down on illegal immigration. It really is something to behold, okay? And of course, the liberals and Democrats, they're boohoo-whining and crying about this, talking about, this is cruel, right? This is what they're crying about, cruelty. How can you treat illegal immigrant criminals like this? You can't put them in detention camps. Oh my God, this is like a concentration camp. Oh God, this is what they're saying. They're really mad about this.
Hey, bitch, that's where you want to put people's kids. in the Florida Everglades. Would you put your own kids down there, bitch ass, MAGA? Bitch, that's what you would, that's where you want to put people's kids? In the Florida Everglades filled with alligators, snakes, dangerous reptiles, mosquitoes, dangerous algae. That's where you want to put people's kids, bitch ass MAGA. Would you put your grandkids down there or your own kids down there? Why you want to cut them off from legal representations? You want to isolate people. You want to cut them off from communication so they can't get an attorney. They can't get legal representation. They can't talk to family members. There's not even a phone signal in the fucking Florida Everglades. Not even a phone signal. Do you have a hospital out? There's no health care out there. Why you want to put people's kids in the Florida Everglades when you would never put your own kids or grandkids in the freaking Florida Everglades? It's filled with gators, dangerous snakes, bobcats, Florida mountain lions, all types of bullshit that's dangerous to people's lives. And your excuse is that they're an immigrant. MAGA, go eat a
All right, just when you think things can't get any crazier or cruel, yesterday the state of Florida announced a new project. It's a project that'll be a new ICE detention facility to host 5,000 beds for detainees, people who have been kidnapped and that are going to be human trafficked by ICE. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. It's going to be in the middle of the Everglades in Florida. And what they said was just completely cruel. The attorney general said, well, we won't have to build a lot of fences because there's gators everywhere, insinuating that there's gators and wildlife to kill detainees. The other thing they said is they want to open this in July. Yeah, in like a month or so. When asked about it, they said, well, we're not going to build buildings or infrastructure. It's going to be tents. The whole thing is going to be tents. And let me tell you guys, I've been to an ICE facility in Florida that's actually buildings, and it was cruel, horrible, horrid conditions. And that was buildings. Imagine tents. I really believe that if this project moves forward, it's going to be a place where there's going to be so much abuse and cruel punishment of people who most of them don't have a criminal record. They're just people who've been living in this country. And so we're going to keep a close eye on this. And like, if they actually build this thing, I'm pulling up. We all need to pull up to protest this thing. Horrible punishment. And also, you want to talk about making 5,000 beds when the state of Florida is criminalizing homelessness and people across the state can't find a place to sleep at night? What about 5,000 beds for the homeless? We got to get our fucking priorities straight here. And so we'll keep you updated on this, but definitely look into Alligator Alcatraz. It's horrible. It's cruel.
Holy fuck, y'all. This is where we're at. Not even 6 months in, and they have constructed a death camp. I'll explain, or I will let another creator who is much more educated on this explain how. But this Alligator Alcatraz that they have built or building in the Everglades in Florida ensures that everyone will die of heat stroke. Full stop. No matter how healthy you are, you will not make it. Just, how do we not have a legal way to stop this? I genuinely, explain it to me like I'm 5. They are murdering people. They are committing murder. You cannot possibly fuck.
Executive summary: current conditions in the Everglades-based ICE detention site Alligator Alcatraz present a lethal threat to detainees in the event of heat stroke, geographic isolation, extreme wet bulb temperatures, and slow EMS response times make survival unlikely. Heat stroke deaths are foreseeable and medically preventable, but ICE logistics currently ensure fatalities.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, liberals are currently claiming that these are death camps, right? These are death camps for illegal immigrants, which is totally not true, by the way. Again, Ron DeSantis clearly explained what the illegals will have access to. Don't worry, they will have some air conditioning, right? Probably not that much, but enough not to die of a heat stroke, okay, for the most part. And, you know, they'll have water. They'll have, you know, semi-comfortable beds, right? They'll be fine, okay? They'll be fine. So with that being said, yeah, you do have people pulling up to this facility to protest, right? They're losing their minds. They're rallying against this. The woke activists, the environmentalists especially, they're upset because they're saying that this is environmentally bad, even though, again, this facility was already out here. But now all of a sudden they care about this, right? This is a big deal. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Happening right now, environmental activists are planning to rally deep in the Everglades, protesting a controversial project that state officials are calling Alligator Alcatraz.
The demonstration is set to happen right at the Dade Collier Airport off of Tamiami Trail. Local 6's Lenny Supal is there live with protesters and what they're demanding in response from officials.
Yeah, that momentum is building, and at the same time, we're hearing that loud rumbling of trucks going in and out of this up-and-coming detention facility. It is the latest effort to expand the immigration crackdown we've seen here in South Florida and, quite frankly, across the country. Momentum building out here as protesters line this highway. They say that this project will be detrimental to the Everglades. Environmentalists trying to stop the so-called Alligator Alcatraz from being built on an airstrip right in the heart of the Everglades. The environmental groups involved, the Center for Biological Diversity, and Friends of the Everglades want a rigorous environmental review, worry the detention center that Governor Ron DeSantis wants to use to house migrants threatens sensitive wetlands.
You got to be on the team if you want to get the deportation mission done.
The state is full speed ahead. Truck after truck entering the area as Governor Ron DeSantis was on the ground Friday morning giving Fox and Friends a tour.
So this is going to be a place where, because DHS has said, you know, we need help with space, so illegals can be processed and then they can be deported right from here. And so this is going to be able to have thousands of illegals, and it's going to increase the ability to do deportations.
More than 3,000 undocumented immigrants can be processed, the runway allowing planes to come in and out to deport them. DeSantis showing the structure, complete with temporary air conditioning units, bathrooms, and showers where migrants will be housed. The Florida Republican Party trying to garner support, selling merchandise like T-shirts and hats. Their description of the center, they say teas surrounded by miles of swamp and bloodthirsty wildlife. This ain't no vacation spot. Environmental groups filed federal lawsuits yesterday, arguing that there wasn't enough comprehensive research to determine the environmental impact. They want to stop construction, but time may be running out to do so because the governor plans on moving detainees here to this facility as early as next week. Reporting live this morning, Lenny Supal, Local 10 News.
Yeah, so fast and efficient, right? Fast and efficient. That is Ron DeSantis, okay? And I think clearly what you can see here is that he is definitely already campaigning, right? He's campaigning for 2028, and he's doing a damn good job, right? Because, hey, you know, I think what he's doing is a great thing, okay? I mean, people, this is why you can't have tender-hearted people running the government, right? When you're too tender-hearted, you don't understand the concept of deterrence, right? At the end of the day, we have to deter people from coming to this country in the first place, right? If you do not have an adequate deterrent, then people are going to come regardless, right? If they think that they're going to come over here and get a slap on the wrist, they're going to be able to stay, they're going to be able to continue to appeal and appeal and appeal, even when a judge says that they can't stay, then it just makes people incentivized to come over to the country, right? To come into the country. But when you have the military at the border, where you have people being detained immediately, right? As soon as a judge tells them that, hey, you got to go, they're being arrested by ICE and deported. When you have Alligator Alcatraz, okay, when you have the things that are happening right now that are happening, this is a deterrent. This is why we have negative net migration in this country now, right? This is why for the first time in a long time, despite Obama being the so-called deporter in chief, we actually are going to have net negative migration, which means we're going to have more illegals leave the country, or more immigrants leave the country than come into the country. And that's a good thing, right? That is a good thing for this country because immigration has been out of control. And the reason why you're seeing that, the reason why you're seeing so many people self-deport is because of stuff like this, right? So, you know, ultimately, you know, you have people, liberals, who are going to be upset by this, but there's no reason to be upset by it. At the end of the day, it serves as a deterrent. if you don't want to potentially be housed in Alligator Alcatraz, then don't come here illegally. And especially don't commit crimes if you're here illegally. Okay, that also is a part of it as well too. But again, liberals are too naive to understand very basic and simple concepts. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.